Am I the a-hole for calling my boyfriend an idiot because he won't get a colonoscopy even though his mom had colon cancer? So my boyfriend 33M has a family history of colorectal cancer. His mom was diagnosed in her early 40s and it was really bad. She survived, but it was a long, awful ordeal. He was old enough to remember it. Because of that, his doctor told him he should start colonoscopies earlier than most people. He's technically overdue for his first one. And lately, he's had some weird stomach problems. I've been telling him for a year to get it checked out. He keeps saying things like, "It's embarrassing. I'm too young. What if they find something bad?" Like, yes, that's the point of the test. The other night, we got into it because he mentioned again that his stomach has been bothering him. I told him point blank, "You're being an idiot. Your mom went through hell with this, and you're ignoring your chance to be healthy." I also said that if he won't take care of himself, I don't know if I can plan a long-term future with him because I don't want to lose a partner to something that could have been caught early. He got really upset and accused me of being controlling and dramatic. Now he's barely speaking to me. I feel like I was harsh, but honestly, I'm scared. The news has story after story of people dying from this because they ignored it too long. People his age, too. I'd rather him be mad at me than bury him in 10 years. Am I the a-hole for calling him an idiot and making this an ultimatum? I'm watching a friend slowly die from colon cancer. He resisted getting a colonoscopy for years, and when he finally had one, they found stage 4. I fully support your ultimatum. Not the a-hole. Very reasonable ultimatum, because true, you really don't want to be with someone that won't do reasonable things to stay healthy. Not the a-hole. My best friend's husband just got diagnosed with colorectal cancer last week, and he is in his 30s. His first symptom was sudden onset of IBS-like issues. He didn't go to the doctors until his second symptom started a couple months later, blood and poop, and it's possible that it's already too late for him. It is so important to catch these things early, and you can't just stick your head in the sand and hope it will go away. Next story. Whipta if I threatened to turn of my life 360? I 19FM in my first week of college. I've had life 360 with my parents since I was about 16 for general safety reasons. However, they're a bit overbearing and controlling about where I go, even after I turned 18. I've found myself being extremely stressed about doing very normal things and being worried about them getting upset. Before I left for college, my mom asked me to leave my life 360 on, joking about how she wants to know what ditch to get me out of if something goes wrong, which I completely understand. But my parents have been obsessively checking my location since I've gotten here. They've mentioned in passing places I went literally like stores to buy stuff for school when I didn't tell them I was going. They've been pressuring me to go to church and checking my location frequently to make sure I don't want to, but I like to keep the peace. It's a bit uncomfortable. I'm wondering if I'd be an a-hole if I told them that if they don't stop stalking me, I'm going to turn off my life 360. I understand their reasoning behind wanting me to have it, but it's uncomfortable knowing that wherever I am, they're probably looking constantly. I'd appreciate any input y'all have. Not the a-hole. Gods, I remember the days when the answer to "Where's your kid?" was "Hell if I know, she's due back at dinner." I cannot imagine living under the crushing surveillance of life 360. No, and honestly, it would be better for your long-term relationship. But do be careful, those first couple years of freedom after having overbearing parents can be dangerous. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole, but if they're paying your way right now, it could jeopardize that support. Have you talked to them about how uncomfortable this makes you? Is your dad just as bad as your mom? Opie replies, I haven't. I'm a bit scared to though. I know they'll just pout that I'm shutting them out or something. And yeah, my dad sent me a screenshot of my location this morning while I was at church. I forgot my phone in my car and he was asking why I wasn't going inside. I feel like he's trying to make sure I go to church. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to fix my sister and Bill's microwave? TLDR, while visiting my sister, I googled the steps on how to mute their microwave beeping and won't change it back. As far as I know, my sister has a happy marriage with her husband Roger. I think he's generally a good guy and a great father, but he does this thing where he puts something in the microwave and will not come to get it when it's ready, so it just beeps and beeps until someone brings it to him. It's so loud, and due to their open floor plan/acoustics, you can hear it no matter where you are in the house. If I'm over, I'll just press the end button or open the door to make it stop, but each and every time, Roger will turn it on again until anyone, brings whatever it is to him. He knows the noise of the beeping drives everyone bonkers, and he just keeps doing it to get waited on. He actually thinks it's funny that the whole house gets mad at him about it. Last week, I finally had enough and got it to stop making any noise whatsoever, and he got pretty pissed once he figured out no noise equal no waitress service. My sister tried being faux mad at me for his sake at first, but ended up asking me not to change it back after a few days of blessed microwave silence. Roger says I'm interfering in their marriage and tampering with his property, even though it's causing friction between them. My sister doesn't want me to change it back, and when he threatened to get a new microwave, she told him she'd do the same thing to it. I told him that Google is his friend too, and he can change it back himself if he wants. He's insisting I change it back, but I'm not budging. Am I the a-hole here? Not the a-hole. I don't care about the rest of the story. People who stop appliances from beeping deserve a laurel and hearty handshake. Not the a-hole. Ask your sister if he does other things like this and if things are okay for her. Next story. Am I the a-hole for bringing my own food to a wedding? So I 36F went to my college friend's wedding last weekend. I was really excited for it. She's a good friend and I wanted to celebrate. The issue is I have a medical condition that means I can't eat certain common ingredients, gluten and dairy. It's not a fad diet or a preference. I get very sick if I eat them. I mentioned this on the RSVP card where it asked about dietary restrictions. The bride told me the venue couldn't guarantee anything gluten or dairy-free because of cross-contamination, but she hoped I'd make do with the salad and fruit. I didn't want to cause trouble, so I just quietly brought a small container of safe food in my bag, literally just grilled chicken and rice. When dinner was served, I discreetly went outside for 5 minutes, ate it quickly, then came back in to join everyone. I didn't make a scene, didn't bring smelly food, didn't take anything away from the event. Turns out the groom's mother saw me with the container outside and apparently told a bunch of people I was disrespecting the caterer and making the couple look cheap. At the reception, she confronted me and said I was embarrassing the family and that I should have just eaten beforehand if I had an issue. I explained that I wanted to be there for the full event and didn't want to faint or get sick. She rolled her eyes and said I was selfish and that the weddings is about the couple, not about your diet. Some of our mutual friends also agree that I made an a-hole move and made the couple look bad. Now I'm wondering if I really crossed a line. I didn't want to draw attention, but maybe I should have handled it differently. So, am I the a-hole for bringing my own food to a wedding? Not the a-hole. You took care of your own needs. That's it. Is it somehow respectful to eat food that would physically harm you? LOL. No. The groom's mother is looking to make trouble where it doesn't exist. Ignore her. Not the a-hole at all. The groom's mother definitely is. You went out of your way to not inconvenience the wedding party or caterer. No one would have known if the groom's mother hadn't made a big deal about it. Next story. Am I the a-hole? I made my daughter 11 cry during D&D. Even though everything turned out okay, my wife is still mad. Background, I have been running a 3-year D&D game for my daughter 11. I play all other characters, including her party members of 5, started out their adventure as petty thieves but are now heroes, all with their own character growth over time. Her character learned early that her character was the target of a dark god but had severed her soul from her body. Important context. She and her band of reformed heroes has spent many sessions thwarting a hag. Finally, the hag kidnaps a young girl who is friends with the party. We start our D&D session last night, and my wife is present in the room. I narrate the events in her game. The party finds what they think is the hag lair and is prepared for an epic fight to save the child, only to find the lair abandoned with the girl in a magical prison and a letter from the hag. The letter indicates that the magical trap will soon kill the girl and that she, my daughter's character, must choose her sorrow. The girl will be freed on the condition that 2 of her companions are sacrificed or her life alone to be sacrificed. They attempt a variety of methods to try to break the trap. Her companions range from efforts to break it to resignation to be the one to sacrifice. These are characters I have been playing for my daughter for years, and she has grown to love them. My daughter starts quietly sobbing as she realizes there isn't anything her character can do. My wife sees and hears all of this. I let her 11 feel the range of emotions as she is in what seems to be an impossible situation. I tell her that while she does have companions that said they were willing, she could decide that this is where her character's story ends in a heroic sacrifice. She starts sobbing. This would mean a permanent end to a 3-year story. I ask her if she wants to take a break to think. She nods and goes to her room. My wife then, clearly upset, tells me that I should not have done this and to present her with a solution that doesn't have consequences. I didn't want to cheapen the gravity of the story. I go to my daughter's room and ask how she is. Tearfully, she says she knows what she will do. We start the game again, and she announces in character that she couldn't live with herself if she let her friends die, and touches the hag device that will kill her. I change the music to an ethereal soundtrack and narrate her seeing herself as if outside her body, and the sacrifice she was willing to make restores her shattered soul with such magnitude and force that it breaks the hag's trap, and that her character felt an overwhelming sense of wholeness as her soul heals with this act of sacrifice. I see my daughter's visible shock, relief, and then joy as I narrate the captured girl released and her own life and soul intact, having broke the hag's magic. She jumps from her chair and hugs me, sobbing and crying too. I'm not sure my wife has forgiven me though. She is really mad I put our daughter through this. Am I the a-hole? My biggest issue is I wouldn't set a trap for my players that there wasn't a way to beat, especially if it ended in a PC death, even a fake-out one. I won't call you the a-hole, but it feels a little edgy. Edit forgot I have to add a judgment for the bot. Soft, you are the a-hole for railroading a PC to death. I get what you were going for, but this was the wrong way to go about it. You are the a-hole. Even if this wasn't about an 11-yo, this is the worst kind of deeming because you're forcing a tone that you want rather than what your players want. If as a DM you see your players are getting genuinely upset, the smart thing to do is change tack to keep the game going. Your daughter was getting distressed and you were forcing a cruel decision onto her shoulders that she clearly wasn't ready to deal with. You need to apologize to her and give some thought as to why you or you couldn't change direction so that she would continue to enjoy the game. From her perspective, you betrayed the social contract that your game was built on. Edit further to this. You had only one solution to a puzzle deliberately set up so that there was only one viable choice, and it was a hokey hero sacrifice decision. This is bad deeming. Role-playing is a collaborative experience, and a good DM rewards creativity and avoids railroading their players. You are not teaching that decisions have consequences. You are cheapening sacrifice by pushing the idea that trying to find other solutions is a waste of time. All in all, it wasn't a learning moment. You were just pushing a restrictive personal ideology on your daughter rather than telling a good story. Just really poor form in my honest opinion. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to sign over my half of a property until I get legal security? I co-own a property with a sibling. They spent years paying off debts so they could have full ownership, and now they want me to sign over my half immediately. The plan was that I would inherit another property from a parent in exchange, but the parent hasn't legally transferred it or notarized a will guaranteeing it to me. My sibling says I'm holding things up, accusing me of being greedy and threatening that I'll ruin their bank deal. My parent says I don't deserve the property, that I should be grateful for anything I get, and implies I have no right to it. I'm feeling manipulated and pressured from all sides. I'm willing to give up my share, but only once there's a legal agreement ensuring I'll receive the promised property. Until then, I want my rights protected so I'm not left with nothing and my sibling can't build or sell on my portion without compensating me. I just want fairness and security, not more than anyone else. Am I the a-hole for standing my ground in the face of emotional pressure and threats? Edit for clarity/context. Some people asked for more details because my original post was vague. Here's the full situation while still keeping some anonymity for me and my family. The property was originally gifted to me and my sibling, but it came with a big debt attached. It couldn't even be used until that debt was cleared. Over the years, my sibling managed to reduce the debt and eventually paid off the rest themselves around 5,000 euros. Their expectation has always been that once the debt was gone, they'd get full ownership. I only found out recently that I still had legal say in the property. Up until then, I thought I'd already lost my rights because of a verbal deal made years ago. Back then, I was still a minor, and the agreement was sibling gets the full property, and I get our parents' house after they pass. I agreed on the condition that it was put into a will naming me as the sole inheritor. That will was never finalized, despite me asking for years. I'm now in my 20s and studying abroad in another country, so I haven't been involved with this property at all. I don't even know the exact details, only what I was told. All I know is that I was promised one thing in return for giving up another, and now that promise is shaky. When I was told last week that I had to sign over my share, I agreed only if parent officially notarized their will naming me sole inheritor of their house. That suggestion was rejected, and instead new conditions came up. I would inherit the house, but I'd be responsible for all funeral expenses which I agreed to. I would not be allowed to turn away any family members who needed housing which I do not agree to because it means I'd carry all obligations but have no real control. I proposed a contract as a compromise. Sibling keeps moving forward with their half and can even start building while I hold my half until I actually inherit the house. To make sure sibling is protected, I suggested adding that I can't sell my half or do anything with it until then. If I don't inherit the house, sibling would buy me out at fair market value. That way neither of us gets screwed. Sibling and parents see this as greedy and manipulative. They say I should just trust their word, wait possibly 30+ years, and sign away my only legal security right now so sibling can enjoy the property immediately. That's why I'm struggling. I'm not asking for more than anyone else. I'm just asking for legal security before I give up mine. Not the a-hole. Trust me, bro, isn't a legal document. Get it in writing first. Not the a-hole. A will and no guarantee of anything. They can write a new will the next day invalidating this one and cutting you out completely. You need to be on the deed of the property itself now, or it needs to go in an irrevocable trust. Better yet, you should speak with a lawyer to figure out the best way to structure this correctly.